Good morning, first graders. Today we are continuing with telling time. We are on page 173 of your student journal, and we are on lesson 2. So our objective today says, today I will tell time to the hour. Okay, remember yesterday we talked about two different types of clocks. We have an analog clock, and this clock has a face. This round entire part is called our face, and it has a short hour hand, and we're going to write that again. Our hour hand is our short hand, and then it has a long minute hand. So that's called our analog clock. And then we also talked about a digital clock yesterday, and a digital clock doesn't have hands. Instead, it just gives us the numbers. So the hour number is in front and the minute hands is in the back of the colon. Okay, so yesterday we practiced this, and I'm going to do a few more by myself before we do some together. So if you want to put your pencil down, you can watch me. Here's my first one. My directions say, what time is shown on the analog clock? Write the time on the digital clock. So boys and girls, if you notice, what they did this time is they didn't write down which one's the hour hand and which one's the minute hand. I have to figure that out all on my own. So I could use my notes to help me if I need to. So in my notes, remember it says my hour hand's my short hand and my minute hand's my long hand. So if I look here at my hands, I see my short ones right here. So my short hand is pointing to my 9, which means that's my hour hand. And my hour goes in front on my digital clock. Now my minute hand, the long hand, is going straight up to the 12, which means it's exactly 9 o'clock. So for my minutes, I'm going to write 0, 0. Okay, let's look at my next one. So for my next one, what I see is, again, I see two hands on my face, but this hand is my shorter one. So my short hand is my hour hand. So it's pointing straight to the 6, which means it's 6 o'clock. And my minute hand is pointing exactly up to the 12, which means my minutes are going to be 0, 0. So on my digital clock, it says 6 o'clock is how I would read this time. Okay, so boys and girls, let's try some together. If you have your journal, we are on page 174, and we're going to start with one that's a little bit trickier. So if I look for this, at first, it looks like I only see one hand. And remember, there's supposed to be two hands. There's supposed to be the hour hand and the minute hand. But I only see this. But here's the thing, boys and girls, if I look really, really closely, what I see is there's a short hand, and then there's also a long hand there. Both hands are pointing to the 12, which makes me a little tricky there. So what I see is the first hand, the short one, and if you notice there was a point about right here, the short hand is pointing to the 12, which means my hour is 12 o'clock. Now because the longer minute hand is also pointing to the 12, that means my minutes are going to be 0, 0, and it's exactly 12 o'clock. Okay, let's try number 2 together. So number 2 says, or it doesn't say, I'm sorry, it shows two hands. I see a longer hand and a shorter hand, and I know my shorter hand is my hour hand. And my hour hand is pointing to 5 o'clock. So on my digital clock, I put the 5 first. And then my minute hand is pointing to the 12 o'clock, which means it's exactly 5 o'clock. So my minutes are 0, 0. Okay, so boys and girls, you're going to turn the page and try some of these on your own. Today you're going to be trying page 175, and you're going to be trying page 176 also. Okay, I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.